Hello everybody, and welcome back to this new development stream of ScourgeBringer. So feel free to say hi in the chat. So just go through to who's there. So hello Fuse.core, hello Fail Positive, hello Harkam, and so what have we been doing this week? So basically, we've been iterating on everything that is platforming, and we started to get more into everything that is combat. So let's start the game. I'm just going to show you and go through. So first thing that we've done along the last week is adding a minimap. So it's no big deal. It's the kind of stuff that you're going to see in mostly any kind of roguelike or any kind of Metroidvania games. So a minimap is pretty much standard here. And well, it's there. And I wanted to show you also some mock-ups of what is going to be the UI of the game for anything else that you are currently preparing. And I forgot to open the file, so I'm just going to try to find where it is. I'm going to go through my files, just going to check if Florian has exported the preview of the UI. Hopefully yes, here it is. So this is basically a mock-up or intention regarding everything that is going to be the user interface. So on the top right, you have, of course, the minimap, like you've seen just right before. On the lower right, we have some experimental stuff about combos and something like money and so on, but this is something that is absolutely not explored right now, so it's basically just a mock-up to toy around. On the top left, you have the health point, so that's also some pretty basic stuff. And on the last corner, on the bottom left, you have everything that is going to be about weapon, and more precisely about the little drone that is following Kira and so on. So it's pretty straightforward. It's going to be a UI just to show how many bullets are still in the magazine of the weapon, how many bullets in total you still have, and also how many of the special abilities you're going to have. So it's pretty simple, and there is also other parts of the UI that are not quite there in this mockup, but we also have some stuff about upgrades, power-ups, and so on. So it's probably going to replace everything that is combo and money on the bottom right corner. And so it's going to be pretty basic, but it's going to be it's going to be enough regarding what we are going to do regarding this. So I'm just going to go back to the game prototype. So like I said, we spent quite some time to yet again fine-tune everything that is platforming. So Florian remade a bunch of animation. So if you remember how the character was behaving a few weeks back, it was kind of blobby. You felt like it was something like a blob jumping around. That was because all the jumping animation, the character was rolling on herself while being in the air. So we removed that, and now, like you see, it's way less blobby, and it feels way more like a real jump. And we also introduced a double jump, and when you double jump, she actually rolls, and that's where the blob animation it's still going to be. And we also fine-tune everything, that is how she stick on walls, how she jump around, how she can even maybe a little bit out in mid-air. If you jump, you may not notice here right now, but when you jump, when she's on the topmost position of the jump, there is something like a freeze frame, and it's just to put a focus and emphasize on the top of the jump, so that you have more controls over the jump itself and also of the double jump. So when you know exactly when the jump is at the topmost position, if you want to really optimize your double jump and the distance you travel. And we also added quite a few effects of jumping that wasn't there before. And if you look a bit closer, you'll notice that there is some dust when you jump around, when you land, when you jump on walls, and so on. And also when you double jump, you have something like a different effect to really let you know that you've been using a double jump. Well, so we're pretty cool with this right now. There are still a few things that we are going to tune here, but we are pretty satisfied with how the platforming works so far. So the next step for us now is going to be to really go into the combat system. So the combat system is for now very simple, but we wanted to get the core game feel with this prototype. So, and we think that we have something that we kind of like. And if you pay attention, when I'm going to try to hit this enemy, I'm just going to use one button, the X button. It's a slash button, and I just have to jump on the enemy and hit the X button, and Kira is going to something like stick around the enemy and slash through the enemies back and forth. And I'm just going to try to find some other enemy so I can show you this better. So this enemy should work a little bit more. No, maybe this one. Yeah. So if you noticed, Kira stayed in mid-air and kind of air combo the enemy. And that's the kind of game feel that we want to get. We want to have very simple controls that enemies could be comboed very, very easily. And you can very easily jump from one enemy to another. So without even touching the ground, because when you hit an enemy with your sword, the double jump is getting reset, so you can just jump around like indefinitely if you have a bunch of enemies that are around. And we really want the player to feel very powerful and to be able to just smash enemies. And well, now we have more ideas to expand on this idea, because right now it's not quite very appealing yet, even if it kind of look cool. It's maybe not very, very enjoyable so far. So that's also because the different enemies that we have here are not quite very advanced yet. So first part, we're going to enhance our enemy roster to have some more complex enemy and more complex levels to go through. And we're going to expand on this combat system by adding different kind of move, like a light move, a heavy move, and we are going to replace the dash move. So right now we have a dash, and this dash, at first we made this dash to go through levels more easily in terms of level traversal. But now that we have a double jump, and double jump feels way more intuitive when it comes to going through levels than using a dash. So we are going to convert the dash. we are going to use the dash as an attack, and this attack will allow you to do multiple kind of things with only one button. And like when you are on such a platform, you can go down like this. And what we want to do, it's like doing something like jump down attack, like you would go down and dash on the enemies and jump or just smash the ground and stuff like this. So that's pretty cool. It feels very powerful and should be very, very easy to use and help to go around. And this dash is also going to be something like a utility attack to start combos, because we want to be able to start combos on multiple enemies. So I'm going to try it here. So here right now, if I just try to dash on the enemy and start a combo, it's pretty cool, because the dash enable you to reach enemies if they are far away. And we want to use this ability to help the player feel powerful and reach enemies. And what we are going to do is to enable this kind of dash to like impale the enemies that are on the way of the player, and just help the player to bring more enemies into his area of effect, and going to be able to start a combo like this and bring enemies to one point and start air combo them. That should be pretty cool. And we are also going to introduce heavy hit, and the heavy hit is going to have the exact opposite effect. It's going to be a very heavy hit, but it's going to send away, to propulse the enemies away, like on walls, on spikes or whatever. But it's going to be like a defensive attack, because if you take a look at the enemy kind of warn you when it's going to attack. It kind of opens, it blinks, and then it attacks. And we want all enemies to have something like a predictable attack patterns, so that even when you are trying to attack them, you can have an intuitive way to know where you are going to be attacked, because obviously you're going to have to stop your combo. You can really push forward and combo enemies without them to attack you freely. So this heavy attack is going to be the defensive move, like I said, and it's going to be to just act like a counter attack, or like a defensive move where you just push enemies so they get out of range and you can just move around and avoid their attack and so on. And it's also going to be quite powerful, because you're going to be able to combo enemies, like start a combo with the dash, hit them multiple times, send them away, and when you just avoided the fire, you can dash back on them and continue a combo and so on. So that's the kind of thing we are going through right now, and I don't know when we are going to have everything together, but that's where we are heading. So right now we are enhancing the combat system, and we are also thinking a lot about this little drone who's firing. And you may have noticed that I haven't been firing it very, very much. And well, we believe there's a reason for that. Because right now it's not quite appealing. There's not quite any gameplay reason to use this weapon. So we are thinking a lot about designing something around long range and close range attacks, about this little drone, its fire capabilities and so on. It's going to be upgradable, being able to have multiple other weapons, and we need to find some kind of synergy and some combo system to be more appealing and more useful and more powerful, and something that should be useful and not just a gimmick about something to enable to fire around. So well, yes, we are thinking about making this little drone robot to be way more useful, to have a real usefulness in the gameplay. Something like you can get around, you are forced to use it at some point. And well, we have multiple ideas so far about this, but we're not still very confident about what we are going to do with this. So, but well, we're still pretty confident about how it's going to turn out. And well, that's pretty much what I can show you this time. So it haven't been quite long stream, I believe. Oh no, 20 minutes. That's kind of a short thing. So don't be shy. If you have any question, feel free to ask. If there are anything you'd like to see, anything you'd like to discuss, any questions, any comments, feel free, and I'd be very glad to ask. So let's take a look at the chat. Yeah, saying hi to everybody. Hi Lecream. Hi MacPix. And well, what else could I tell you or show you? Well, also the past 2 weeks we've been talking to a lot of people about music, about sound design, about publishing, about marketing, about PR, any kind of stuff, because we'd like to start building a team and finding partners to move forward with the game and to be able to really fulfill the vision that we have with this game and doing something very, very cool about it. And so far we discussed with very cool and talented people, and we really hope that everything is going to turn right about this. But so far it's been a very interesting week, and we should have more news in the coming weeks. It's not going to be something like a very quick process, because discussions take a lot of time, and there's a lot of people involved, so there's a lot of things to think about. But I'm still going to meet with other people and talk to other people along this week, and also at the Gamescom at the end of the month. And yeah, if you're going to the Gamescom, feel free to hit me up, and I'd be glad to chat with you. And maybe I'm going to have the prototype of ScourgeBringer in my bag. What would be super cool if I have the time to, it would be to make a Switch version of this prototype. So this is a Nintendo Switch dev kit. It's the ones that I am using for everything that is contract work, about the other kind of ports that I'm doing, and also obviously for our own needs, like porting new avoiders to the Switch and so on. Well, I'd like to maybe port the current prototype of ScourgeBringer to the Nintendo Switch. It should be pretty straightforward, because it's the same technology and engine like the ones that we had in Neurovoider, and since it runs like flawlessly on the Switch, shouldn't be an issue to get it there. The Switch is a pretty cool tool to demo games, because you just have to like grab it from out of your bag and hand it to someone, and here you go, you can play your game. And that's very, very cool, and I think I'm going to do it. Yeah, I should do. Yeah, I'm going to try to port ScourgeBringer there and try to install it on the Nintendo Switch, so I can show it around at the Gamescom like this. And I should have a backpack way more lighter, and that's very, very important when you have to go through the Gamescom for 2 days or more. So hey, hello everybody. Hey Gamabunta, hey Bew, hey Chris. So yeah, feel free if you have questions. You are very cool saying hi everybody. And yeah, if you have questions, now is the time. So I'm just going to go through this little level for one more time to generate another level, and just going through So I'm going to try to air combo more enemies and just test out everything that is movement. And so right now you have an infinite number of health points here in the game, but yeah, it's just to test out. But we are going to implement the user interface and have a real like number of hit points, and just going to be able to maybe even have game over screen and so on, to have a real feel of maybe what would be the difficulty of the game. And also another thing right now is that enemies can go through everything that is the scene platforms and so on. We are going to change this because it's not quite what it doesn't feel right. So we are going to enable enemies to go through these scene platforms and also bullets and so on. So just looking at your questions. So Blue is asking, any planned joke about dashes? He posted an image. I'm just going to click on it. Dashes. Okay. So here's a joke of View. So is there going to be any joke about dash? Maybe. I don't know. And that's the kind of joke I was really expecting from you. He's a professional in this kind of joke. Just going to try. Yeah. Any online multiplayer mode planned? Nope. Yeah. It's like a running gag asking about online multiplayer mode because of our previous game, Neurovoider. Neurovoider is a twin-stick shooter that is playable up to 4 player, and unfortunately we couldn't make it an online game. It's only playable locally. And so, yeah, asking if there are going to be online multiplayer on this game is kind of a joke because it's a solo game, so there's no point with about multiplayer. Well, yeah, that's about it for today, I think. If you don't have any question or more precise comment, yeah, people in the chat are really cool right now, so that's cool. So thank you very much for dropping by, and I hope to see you around next week. And well, I catch you up. Like always, if you have any question, comments, feel free to drop on our Discord server or ask me questions on Twitter. Send us a mail, I don't know, whatever, but we would really appreciate to have feedback, comments, and so on. So thank you very much, and see you around. Yeah, bye bye, have a nice day.